I think, like a lot of people, I think we love racing. Sometimes we're not exactly sure why we do. And my next guest, Michelle Phillips, I'm sure as a young person in the industry, yeah, the highs and the lows sometimes of this sport. Today you had I would imagine, a fairly mixed emotional day today. One of the highs in a way, and also a low for all the connections.
Yeah, Paul, most definitely. Yeah, the big end of town here, he got across the line, and it was a bit of an emotional win. Um, as people probably have heard, Philip Knott, the owner of Big End of Town, he sadly passed away due to illness yesterday afternoon. And today, for my first drive at Stall in race two, Big End of Town came out of barrier three, and we just led for the whole race and won by about 5 meters. And yeah, Philip was the owner as well as the breeder of Big End of Town. So it was very emotional win to be able to get that win purely because it was the trainer Tim Balaka was very close friends with Philip, and yeah, it meant a lot to Tim and as well to his family who just tuned in just randomly remembered that the horse was racing and yeah just tuned in, and I was happy that to be able to get the win for them in memory of Philip. And as you see in the video, I gave a pretty big salute, and I thought that suited a very good goodbye, so to speak. So yeah, very emotional day.
It was, and I think the racing gods, they have a strange way of dealing with things. The big end of town. He was out of form to say the least. His form was nothing, exciting to look at. He started at 40 to 1, I think, or 35, 33 to 1 today. Um, Phillips, an ex-bookmaker, so he would have been probably laying him for everything, the way his form was and all the rest. But he's never going to get beat, was he?
Most definitely not. As soon as we launched out of the gate, I just felt like I had a horse, and at the top of the straight, once I pulled the plugs and I just roared at him to go, he just didn't stop, and he just kept on motoring, and they weren't going to catch us.
You didn't know Philip. I don't know Philip that well. I didn't know Philip that well. I may have crossed paths with him from time to time, but I didn't actually know him. But I think that's a great thing about the racing industry. It doesn't matter if you personally know someone or not. People get affected in all sorts of ways in the racing game, don't they? And the fact that you didn't know him didn't mean a lot to you. It was just for all the connections, like you said, Tim Balifo and the rest of the family watching the race. It meant the world to them, didn't it?
Most definitely, like when I got there and Tim pulled me aside and told me what had happened, I actually got a bit teary because I've never been put in a situation where not so much the pressure is on you, but you just want to do well for the family and Tim. And yeah, I just had to take a moment to breathe and to go, look, whatever happens, happens, but just do your best and just leave it up to what happens out in the track. And yeah, big end of town, Jake, he knew what was at stake, and he certainly put his best foot forward. Like you said, he wasn't in quite form. He's had a few uh, problems, so to speak, and yeah, the last start was his first start back for a couple of weeks, and he just got lost a little bit with the speed, and then he was charging home at the finish, and today when he led, he just didn't look back. It was on the bit and was raring to go.
And I've stopped at the footage right on your salute, probably about 5-10 metres from the line. But it must have been pretty emotional when you've done that. And I know a couple of the drivers, Mickey Bellman being one of those, and James Herbertson, as well as yourself, were wearing black armbands in memory of Philip. I'm sure Mick would have been congratulating you. Probably about 50 metres past the post, actually, as you start to ease down, because I know Mick never misses an opportunity to be. Well, I can say it's smart, but he's also got the biggest heart, I reckon, going around, and I'm sure he would have been pretty happy for you just to get the jockeys.
Most definitely, like we went out at the parade ring, and I said, "Oh, pressure's on," and we spoke about what happened. He just said, "Just do your best. Whatever happens, happens." And yeah, once I crossed the line, he said, well done. I loved the salute. That was very much deserved and needed. And yeah, he drives a bit for Tim as well, and so does James. So it was good that all three of us that were out on the track were able to wear armbands in memory of Philip. And like I said, it's the least we can do is do our best out there and wear our heart out on our sleeves, but so to say.
Yep, and I just think it's a good story, Mitch, and like it means a lot. I know Craig sent me a message to grab your phone number because he just wanted to ring you and congratulate you. I think he basically said to me he held everything together pretty much for the whole day until you crossed the line then first, and I think that was the end of him. He was in a little bit of trouble after that, but and I think he passed those sort of similar sentiments onto you, I think, for today.
Most definitely he did. Yeah, he said he'd been getting a few messages and calls asking how he was, saying he's okay, and I think he was pretty busy, obviously helping his family out, and they took the time of the day to sit down and watch a race. And particularly, it's one of his father's horses that he bred as well. I think it definitely would have taken a toll on the reaction, and I know Tim was pretty upset but happy when we came back from the stalls. Like, I came in and I gave him a hug, which we're not meant to, but and yeah, he just kind of was a bit emotional then and there, but that's to be expected. But at least we could get a win in memory of Philip.
Absolutely. No, absolutely, Mitchell. I think you've done a great job, and I think it's a great story. As I said, we say about fairy tales in the industry and all the rest, but racing's just an amazing leveler. As I said, it can bring people back to earth very quickly, but it can also pick a lot of people up. And I'm sure today you've picked up a lot of people, and not just the Knott family. I know, looking at social media, there was a lot of people who knew Philip very fondly and what they've written on social media, so I'm sure they got a kick. A lot of them are punters. I don't think too many of them would have backed him. They may have had $1 each way just out of sentiment, but that wouldn't have mattered because they're not always about the punt. Sometimes it's the story. And I think well done to you, Mitch. I think you've done a great job. We could talk about a lot of other things, but we won't tonight. It was just basically leave this one about tonight, but I will catch up with you in a couple of weeks or something. We'll have a talk because things are starting to turn around for you. You're driving a few more winners and you're really getting to go along, which is really good. But well done today, Michelle.
Thank you very much, Paul, and condolences to the family and friends.
Hear, hear. Well said.